All right, so we're back. Okay, there we are. Much better with the stars. Uh, Orion Nebula. Um, the one thing I wanted to try tonight, and was hoping to, I have my long focal length telescope out tonight, so we're going to try to capture the Horsehead. Super hard. Actually, first try with this telescope. So let's see what we can do here. All right. Let's search. Horsehead. Okay. Oh, okay. So let's see. 434. Yeah, so the Horsehead Nebula is identified as IC 434. We're just taking a peek, see if we can't find it. Okay, yeah, it didn't have to move very far, so it's just a star and a few a belt over. All right, let's see what we might have. Yeah, I got to work on the speed of this thing. I may have to hook up a network cable. Hopefully, up on the hill, I Chris was saying that we have fiber up there, so yay. All right. Oh, let's see. I'm not making anything out, so let's see. We're going to need a longer exposure. Let's try 60 seconds. So tonight's software is the coming from the ASI Air. Some of you probably already know about this. Um, it's a little Pi device basically, and it's connected to my camera. It's mounted underneath the front of um, my telescope on the Vixen bar. Um, Wirelessly, it connects to um, a tablet or phone, or in this case, I'm using the Android subsystem for Windows in order to emulate a tablet, and then I'm capturing that into OBS so that we can take a peek at it. Uh, so this is happening from my front yard. Hopefully, it will be from the Bohr telescope the next time it's clear. So we've had some technical difficulties. We're working on those. Primarily, mine, the Android subsystem doesn't work on anything except Windows 11, unless you want to use BlueStacks, and that's tough. So I wasn't planning on using that. This works really well, and I have it hooked up to my desktop computer here at home. But trying to take that over to the hill is a little tough. So we're doing it here tonight. Like I said, practice. So hopefully everyone is having a good evening. Maybe you're out doing the same thing I'm doing. So let me know how you feel about all of this. The other one is some of the things that Dave was talking about in some of the last few announcements, really trying to take a look at astrophotography. Although it's something that we've done before in the past, we're really trying to get it to a point where we look more at it. I do a fair amount of astrophotography myself, or better yet, electronically enhanced astronomy, which is kind of what we're doing here. Is we're basically star hopping, taking a look at different things. We just took a 180-second look at the Horsehead. Hopefully, we can capture something. Like I said, I've never really done this with this telescope, so I'm not sure what to expect from it. I didn't even go through the process with Stellarium to actually get an idea of what this thing is going to look like with the equipment that I'm using. As a matter of fact, maybe I should do that while we're waiting for this. Oh, it's loading. Good. So with Stellarium, it has this handy-dandy little option, which kind of, and right now it's set to my ASI 533 and my 8-inch telescope. Okay, great. So we have to now find, let's see, where's Orion at? There's Betelgeuse, so we're close. Orion is right there. And the Horsehead should be, wow, nothing. You can start to see things make out here. Some of those may be artifacts. Well, that's going to be tough. Let me see what else is good tonight. So, hold on. Tonight's best. I like to take a look at that. Uranus is setting. Triangulum. Oh, that's in a really bad spot. Oh, let's look at the Messier objects. The crab. Oh, the crab is in a really good place. So it should slew over there quite nicely. Like I was saying, here, let's pop that up real quick. Let's see, which software am I looking at here? Okay, so Stellarium will show that. we'll turn off ASI air. So there's Orion. We're going to turn that dude off so we can see better. So Betelgeuse is up here, Orion's belt, his sword, the bow's right here. Um, so um, yeah. Orion's nebula is right there. Flame Nebula. Alrighty. So, yeah, that is. If I had enough time to actually do this, I'd be able to probably capture a pretty good image of the horse head. So, and the reason I say this is right there is what the frame would kind of look like with my camera, with that telescope, and so on. So, um, it's not. It'd be nice if I could get a reducer for it and maybe pull it out to encapsulate those. Um, but uh, all right, so yeah, so the ASI Air was having trouble. Um, it should be all right. Let's see. I'll let you take a peek, see what it's doing here. Sometimes this thing will just get confused. It's really weird. But let's see what we can see here. Anyways, so while that's loading, we'll go back over to Stellarium. Oh, you get something. Take 10 seconds. Take a peek real quick. All right. Yeah, so there was a 10-second one. We're going to have to go to probably 120. Let's make that histogram go away. Now, I can stretch this differently, and I might get more success out of it, but let's make that a little bigger. There. So I started another image. I'm going to 120 seconds, but we'll take a look at Stellarium while we're doing that. So if we go to and look for the Crab Nebula. Crab Nebula. Pops over to it. So that is what we're looking to try to grab. So even with so the focal length on this telescope is 2,032 millimeters. So it reaches out fairly well comparatively. So and even there, the crab is kind of small. So it might work out better if I had something with a little more focal length, say like the Bohr telescope, which would have been really nice to work with tonight. Like I said, technical difficulties. Windows 11 is my nemesis. So let's go back to ASI Air real quick. Take a peek at it. Yeah, we haven't rendered yet, so that's good. Starting to get chilly out, but it's a lovely night, so I couldn't hardly miss it. Let's see what else is going on tonight. Tonight's best. The moon comes up. It's not going to be up for a little while, which is good and bad. It'd be nice if we could take a peek at it, but it's going to be up much later. Perhaps we'll take a look at Andromeda. And then we'll look for, see how that is tonight. The Bode's Nebula. Wow, Bode's Nebula is really good. So if we don't start getting something good on Crab, we're going to go take a peek at look at Bode. All right, so that was 120 seconds. Um, I'm hesitant to go to 180, so let's take a peek at Bode's. M81 Bode's. And slew to it. Oh, let's see. I'm taking a look at what's the other YouTuber? See if he posted yet. Subscriptions. Bigger. Somebody who does a really, really good job with these. Chuck's Astrophotography. They do a fantastic job. He does these a lot. And matter of fact, he does the sun as well, and has captured some really interesting live sun. So if you ever get a chance, Chuck's Astrophotography. And we're centering. Good. All right. Take 5 seconds and see what we can see of boats. Well, we are going to need more time than that. Let's go with 60. Okay, let's take a peek. Oh, well, that works really well. Wow. I'm going to center things around here a little bit. See if we can't make this just a wee bit better. Okay, I guess that's as good as it's going to get here. So that's boats. Nope, let's stop that. Let's go to 180 seconds. So that was our 60-second of boats. And remember, that's what it's supposed to look like inside the frame. So we should be looking for quite a bit of data there. That's our next target. So we're going to take a look at Whirlpool. This is one of my favorites. It's probably, yeah, I think it really is the first deep sky object that I actually took a look at. It's fairly bright, it's fairly large. You can make it out with a 30-second shot. So we'll see what we get here tonight with boats, and then we'll move on to this one. Andromeda is in a bad place right now, so we're going to have a hard time seeing that, even with a camera, unless I want to do multiple 180-second shots of it. So we'll see how it goes. All right. All right, so let's talk about the SIR a little bit. And this is just a tool that several of the members use. It is not the end all. It locks you into ZWO equipment for the most part, cameras, filter wheels. Um, Most DSLRs work with it. And as far as I can tell, I've yet to run into a mount that doesn't work. And it really does simplify things. You can see the process that I use, but there are other products out there, free products that are available. Now, the one thing that you are going to need, and this is where the ASIR comes in really handy, is that it's the computer part of it. unless you're using the DSLR, you're going to run into a situation where you don't have, um, you're going to need a computer because a dedicated astro camera is going to be limited to whatever it's going to communicate with. So it's going to need a computer to run it. The ASAR is capable of doing that, and that's where the way it's hooked up right now. But just as easily, you could use SharpCap or um, uh, what's that other one? Gosh, I don't even know them all very well anymore. So let's see what we saw here. The image loaded, but I'm not getting a lot of detail. I can just barely make some stuff out, but I think some of it is lighting. And I see the Facebook feed is not nearly as clean as what I'm seeing. So let's move over to M51. So M51, the whirlpool is, if you look at the Big Dipper and you see those last two stars, and you kind of form a triangle with it uh, in between, kind of up from there. At the top of that triangle, you'll see that's where the whirlpool is, which makes it really nice. It makes it a little easier to actually find. I do want to check something real quick in Stellarium, so we're going to go switch over to that. Where is Stellarium on this crazy computer of mine? Oh, there it is. All right. So, and the other thing is the way I find items, for instance, Andromeda. Andromeda is a pretty straightforward find. It's usually running around the north. It hops around Polaris. Um, so what I look for is uh, Capella, and it creates this angle or this W in the sky. And the other one, and I'll turn these on real quick so you can see them. So I think I'll turn off the horizon. So the other one is finding this box and then finding the legs that come off of it. And what I do is there's a star right about here and here that come off this box from what Pegasus. That's right. And this right here we'll probably find. So this triangle kind of points at it. And there's these three stars that come off these. And these are much easier to find than these two. But you can just make it out off of these two coming from that star. We go in a little further. That right there is Andromeda. So that's how I find it. And when I'm not using GoTo, obviously. But so if I'm using my DAW or something like that, that's what I would do without GoTo. Oh, Wool Pro is there. 1 second. So let's take 10 seconds of the whirlpool. See what we get. So we did get some image. So let's take a peek. So you can see this is the big one, this is the little one, and these two are interacting with each other. So makes it interesting. I'm going to take something a little longer, a little better. Let's see if we can't do 60 seconds and see what we get. Oh, yeah, that's still fine. So I'm going to switch over to Stellarium again. Alrighty. There it is. Okay, so a lot of times these images or these outlines of the constellations get in the way, so I tend to turn them off. Um, I do tend to leave the lines in simply because uh, the lines are quite helpful in many cases. So, but you can also see the stars that way. Ooh, I should probably put the horizon in so I know what I can't see tonight. Oh, the other thing is that when you're trying to look for the Milky Way arm, Capella is another thing that runs right through it. So if we kind of back out here, um, you'll see that the Milky Way arm just kind of goes right up through there. Capella is one of the ways that I use to try to find that. Can't always be really easily found. Oh, goody. Here, let's take a look. Yeah, there it is. And that is the whirlpool. It's about 60 seconds. We can do something a little longer. We also have a fair amount of light pollution where we're at right here. But nevertheless, it's a pretty good image. If I had a filter and, I don't know, say 30 or 40 of these at maybe 180 seconds, we could get a really good image from this. And that's the idea, really, of what astrophotography is taking a bunch of images, 60 seconds, 120 seconds, 180 seconds, even 5-minute images, and then stacking them together so that you are basically collecting as much light as you possibly can for the single image, because some of these things are really dim. We looked at Bode, even with 180 seconds, we could barely make it out. The Crab is kind of in the same situation, and that's why astrophotography gets messy, simply because it's a requirement to understand the camera, understand the telescope, understand the mount, understand the software necessary for capturing, and then there's more software that's required and to understand for stacking. Now, with a lot of products, kind of like the ASIR 2, it actually has a stacking mode. So you can do things like run a plan. I'll take a quick peek. Oh, wait, I'm in the middle of an image. I can't. Anyways, so the idea is that you should be able to run a plan or a light session and tell it, hey, I want you to follow this item throughout the night and take 30 images at 180 seconds, and then save them so I can stack them later. Even to the point where ASIR actually has some stacking software that does a pretty good job. I've actually done it a couple times with it, and it's turned out pretty well. It's never going to be as good as stacking it yourself in something like PixInsight and then adjusting it with Photoshop, but it does a fair job. The other one is this also has the ability to do video. So when you're doing planetary, and that was something they added not that all that long ago, doing deep sky objects is very different than doing planetary. Um, I get why people have a hard time sometimes with astrophotography. There's quite a learning curve. I mean, telescopes are a learning curve. Finding things in the middle of the night. Ooh, that came through really nice. But you can really see the light pollution that's going on here. Um, but, that's where we're at tonight. Deep, dark sky would be nice, but this is, I think we're about at portal 6. We're on the edge of portal 5 skies, but I think I'd have to go north by about an hour and a half. Then there are a lot of trees, so that's problematic. Um, so here's another one, a good example. The whirlpool is an excellent one to try to look at. The uh, process of doing electronically enhanced astronomy, and like I said, that's kind of what we're doing here tonight, is just that process of hopping around to the stars, seeing what you can see, taking 1, 2, 3 minute images, and trying to get something that looks like that. So that's really nice. Some of the tools that I use, obviously, Stellarium. Um, I use um, PixInsight to stack. I use Photoshop to uh, modify. I don't want to say modified. I'm a bit of a purist, so I'm not a big fan of changing the colors. Oh, and just so you know, this is a one-shot color camera that we're using tonight. It's a ASI 533 MC Pro, and it's really designed to be able to, get the actual look of the item. Um, I see in many cases uh, images of Orion, and they do not look like what I see. Not that that's wrong. It's just, like I said, I'm a purist. Um, let's go back there. Matter of fact, and oh, it's really a good time. So Orion, and it's going to slew over there. It's going to take a little while. It's pretty far away. So we were looking at something in the northern sky. It was probably just above my rooftop. Um, uh, my rooftop, the telescope, when it faces north, um, some of the northern items are hard to find. As a matter of fact, I have to go a ways down um, my driveway just so that I can see over it to be able to align to Polaris. Um, which there's several pieces of software, two or PhD2, um, the ASIR, they now have non-Polaris alignments. So even if you don't have the ability from wherever you're looking from to be able to do this, you have the ability to go take a peek at that and do your alignment without having Polaris in your sights. So I haven't actually tried it. I have a good view of Polaris, but we'll see how things go. See if it's ever becomes necessary. I may just try it for the fun of it. Let's see. It's trying to center on Orion now. Oh, and it's centered. So it should give us some type of image. Oh no, it won't take the image. That's why. Okay, because I have it set for 180 seconds. So let's do it for 30. Oh, wow. That moved really. Oh no. Oh, that was the original 2 seconds. So when it tries to center, it uses the 2 second centering time frame. So this is a 2-second image of Orion. So, I mean, that's a really good image of a deep sky object. So Orion is really bright. This is something that you would be able to see with binoculars, or a small telescope, or a DSLR with a telephoto lens, and not a long one. And you can actually show Orion with your naked eye, but it's just kind of a blurb. You're not going to see this kind of detail, but it doesn't take that much. In fact, Orion, from the perspective of the telescope that we're using tonight, the 2032, is way too long to try to do this object. And that's another discussion when we talk about focal length and when we talk about aperture and so on. Let me switch over to Stellarium real quick and give you perspective on some of these items. Let's see. So the Orion Nebula, if I were to put, so roughly we're getting the center, and that's kind of it. And a lot of people will try to image, they'll try to image this whole complex here. Let's see what the ASR has come back with. Oh, okay, good. So this is a 30-second image of it. And that's not really all that long. We're actually getting a lot of the color, the dark nebula. These are the center stars, which at 30 seconds aren't all blown out, which is kind of nice, which is not easy to do if you want to try to get everything else. A lot of times, the best way to do that is to do just a whole bunch of 30-second images. Some people will actually do what they call a mask for this center section, generate the surrounding piece with a bunch of data, and take a short amount of data to do the center section, simply because otherwise there's just too much data that gets captured, and the stars just get completely blown out. I'll give you an example. We'll go with 120 seconds. So that'll take a couple minutes. Let's go back here. So with this one, with this telescope, we're really hurting ourselves in the process because we're not able to catch all of the things that we probably would want to. So the easiest way to work around that, I have two more telescopes. One's a Dobsonian, which is an 8-inch Newtonian with focal length of about 1200. Again, probably wouldn't work very well, but the other one that I have, and we'll try to set this up. Telescopes. Let's add one. My telescope. It's an LX 85, 6-inch, and the focal length is 750, and the diameter or aperture is 150, 6-inch. LX 85. Okay, we'll make that go away. All right, so up here we can see it's the 533 and all its information, but we want to see There it is. Okay, so this one is actually, yeah, so this is my 6 inch. This is far better suited for uh, Orion. And, you know, we could even look at a one of the smaller versions of it. So let's add another one and we'll say, hey, let's look at the Red Cat. I happen to know the numbers for that. So it's 250 focal length and it is a 51 millimeter uh, aperture. Sorry. Um, so, and we're going to have to move to that telescope. So that's a Red Cat. Okay, so you can kind of see um, if you were trying to get the entirety of this, the Red Cat might be something. So it's a very tiny telescope. It's about 2.5 inches. It's only about 250 millimeters long. It's really tiny. I mean, you can literally hold it in your two hands. It's itty bitty, and it may or may not work really well for this one. But if we took a peek at, let's look at Andromeda. Okay, Andromeda Galaxy. I have to be specific. All right, so if we were trying to get the entirety of Andromeda, the Red Cat would work out pretty well. Yeah, let's see. Let's actually make that 350 and 71. That is the new big brother of the Red Cat. Oh, yeah, well, Andromeda is really setting now. So, a 71 millimeter aperture with a 250 focal length seems to work out really well with my particular camera. Mine isn't a full frame camera, so some of the space is going to be, it's not going to be as big as what potentially could be viewed. But so I guess my point is when we talk about the perfect telescope, this is the problem. It's like, okay, what do you want to do with your perfect telescope? Oh, goody. 1 second. Oh, there it is. So this is Orion's nebula. That's 180 seconds. It makes for a really nice image. And if we stack a few of them, we put together some light pollution filters in there. Um, we kind of put them together. You can kind of, you can actually see the 4 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're a little blown out, but they're not too bad. But so you can get some really nice images with not a lot of time spent with it. Andromeda is kind of the same right now. You can see there, it's right on the horizon. It's literally hiding behind trees, probably even for me. In matter of fact, where my telescope is, it's probably behind my house, so we're not going to be able to see that one. So, but let's go take a peek and see if we can find some other things from tonight's. Oh, really bad. Yeah, it's really bad planet time. Really, really bad. This thing isn't even up. Yeah, so basically, the vast majority of the planets are actually on the other side of the sun from us. They're coming back around. Um, you can see Venus in the morning, and you can see Jupiter. Matter of fact, here, let's take a peek at what you can see and what time you can actually see them. So with Stellarium, we're going to change the time. Put this here. We're looking at the north. That's really bad. We should be looking at the east, southeast. So the moon is just now coming up. I'll take a peek of that in just a minute. We're coming up on an hour. I think I'm going to cut it off in an hour, but let's take a look at this. So date and time, 2300. So we're looking at the east. 2 o'clock in the morning is bad. Altar comes up. Oop, there's Venus and Mars. 6:09 in the morning. Then Saturn shortly thereafter. So if you're an early bird, here you go. And then around 7, we start getting sunlight. So Saturn and Mars, for the most part, are going to disappear. You'll be able to see Venus just fine. Just so we can kind of see it, I'm going to turn off the sun. And this gives you an idea of when things are going to start. Jupiter, Mercury, around 8, the sun starts really coming up. Oop. And then sometime around midday, I think Neptune comes up. So it's morning time for the planets. And you have almost no time there on the horizon. It's really bad time for planets. That's why they call it nebula time. Well, nebula time is actually starting to set. And now it's turning into galaxy time. So whirlpool, bodes, things like that. I think I'm going to end it there. If you have any questions or comments, or you would like this to go in a different direction, we're seriously considering putting it out on YouTube. If you're really interested in astrophotography, we are starting that process to figure out how best to do it for our members. And just so you're aware, I am one of the board members, so I actually get to talk to Chris and Dave and vote on things. So let me know if you want to direct message me. By all means, if you have questions or you want to just throw a comment on this post, we'll take a look at those too. But this is specifically one of those things that the board is really interested in. We were trying to get this started earlier, but well, weather's been really terrible. So we're getting through it. Let us know. Throw a comment in there. We'll talk to you later. Bye.